Hello, it is the 9th of January 2024. Happy New Year and welcome back to My Blue Heaven and season number 6. Season number 6 of My Blue Heaven. And given the way I've carried on over the course of the 5 years, it's remarkable that I'm actually still here. I'm still in a mental headspace to be able to come back for season number 6. I have carried on like a pork chop through the journey, but this channel feels like it's a part now. It's just a part of my DNA. It's a part of who I am, and I appreciate the support. I appreciate the loyalty of the subscribers on this channel who continue to come back for the content. And there's been a hell of a lot more downs than ups, but given the way we finished 2024 and given, the fight back last year and our performance in the finals, getting to a prelim, it was always going to be difficult to go across to the Gabba and play the Brisbane Lions there. And to fall away like we did wasn't a huge surprise in the end, but it certainly gives us a lot of optimism going into season 2024. And the expectations are really fucking high, aren't they? And they have to be. I think there's a lot of pressure that will come with this year, but this group is, or should be, they should be in a position now at that maturity level, given the age of our leaders now, that we should be able to handle that pressure. I think we handled it really well last year. We had some big wins, some really important wins that gave this group a lot of belief. And if we can stay relatively healthy, and I mean relatively healthy, we're going to get injuries along the way. There's still a few concerns over the bodies of some of our players, and whether we can keep them on the park for the whole year. But if we can stay healthy, the depth is a lot better. There's no reason why number 17 shouldn't be well and truly on the agenda. And now that we are into the new year, and it is the 9th of January, and the boys went back to training yesterday, Matthew Cottrell won the 2 kilometre time trial. Just looking at athletics track, I think that was at Melbourne University. I'm pretty sure it was. It was raining. He won it. I think he beat Jackson Binns, and I think Ollie Hollins was right up there as well, and Charlie and Elijah Hollins, which was good to see. They were in the top 5. And then the boys got their gear and they all went back to Princes Park and had what looked like a pretty taxing session on the track in torrential rain on Princes Park. So they are back into it. There's an open training session coming up, I think on the 18th or 19th of this month, which I'm really looking forward to getting along to see. And I'll bring you all the action of that, particularly for those subscribers who are interstate or overseas, who can't, or in regional Victoria, and you can't get to these open training sessions. They're always good to go and watch. They're always good to watch, and I thoroughly enjoy going. You're going to get a lot of the same on this channel in 2024. Plenty of previews of the games, plenty of reviews. I'll also do a lot more game day vlogs this year. And as I alluded to at the back end of 2023, I felt like I really missed out on the draft. And I think it's something which is really, obviously it's a huge part of the footy calendar. We go the season, final series, we go straight into the trade period, which is big, and then the draft, which is huge. And I just don't concentrate on that enough. And it's something I've got a lot more time to be able to do this year. So I want to follow the Coates Talent League, in particular here in Victoria. Try and keep an eye on the Waffle and the Sandford Colts, the Tasmanian under 18 competition as well. They're in the Coates Talent League, but really keep an eye on the future coming through. So when I get to draft time, that I have got some real knowledge on the players coming through, rather than just watching highlights on YouTube and then pretending to be some sort of draft expert. I'm not saying I'm going to be a draft expert come the end of the year, but I'm certainly going to be very, very knowledgeable in regards to the players coming through and who are potentially the future stars of the AFL from the under 18 competition. So there we go. What I'm going to do as well, so that feels like it's going to be a big year on this channel. I want to set myself, now I don't want this channel to be a fitness channel. There's a lot of those around. But I'm 55 years of age. I've just revealed my age, but those of you who followed it along, I talk about, playing current under 19s back in the mid 1980s. So you can put two and two together and work out my age. But I am at that stage in life where physically I am starting to struggle. And when I talk about physically, if I exercise, I really sort of pull up sore, and I can't do what I used to do, and that's just life. But I feel mentally I'm still really strong, and as strong as I've ever been. And once I commit to something, I stick to it. But I feel like this year with our football club, it's going to be really difficult. I've just painted a really positive picture coming into season 2024, but there's going to be snags. It's going to be a tough, long, draining season on this group, and a brutal competition where we're all teams. Not every team's in a position to win a grand final, but fucking half of the competition are. And it's a long season, ups and downs, hurdles along the way, and it's easy for me to sit behind this camera and criticise, and because that's what we do. That's what we do. So I want to, for the most part, set myself a really taxing physical challenge, and one that if I really think about it, it's one I'm really determined to try and achieve, and I'm going to finish this challenge up on Christmas Day this year, which is a long way away, but I'll need every ounce of that time to get myself prepared for it. And it mightn't seem like a big deal, but when you're 55 years of age, it is. But there's obviously a mental side of this as well. And I think it aligns a little bit with maybe, and it's all relevant, maybe what these footballers put themselves through on a day-to-day basis to get themselves up. So I want to set myself a physical challenge, a real physical challenge, something that's going to take fucking every ounce of my willpower to be able to do. Now, this is in vogue now. This challenge is in vogue now. And what I mean by in vogue, it seems like every Tom, Dick and Harry online is sharing that they did the 100 hundreds on Christmas Day. And I am quite envious when I see these younger athletes. And when I talk about younger athletes, these young footballers, whether they are AFL players or country footballers, metropolitan footballers, relatively fit. You need to be pretty fit to be able to do this. They do it on Christmas Day, and I'm very, very envious. And it's something I wish I had have committed to when I was a little bit younger, when I was more able. They do the 100 hundreds. And that's the challenge, 100 hundreds. And the thought of actually, if I tried to even do that right here, right now on the 9th of January, I'd probably drop dead after about 10. But this is something which hasn't just, it seems to have exploded now, but this is something which has been around for a while. When I was at Carlton as an under-19 footballer in the mid-1980s, so 1986 and 1987 were the 2 seasons I was there. In the preseason of 1986 going into 1987, on the last day of preseason training before Christmas, the under-19s, we train on the grassed area behind the gardener stand, which is often used as a car park. If you go to sort of big open training sessions. They use that part but we used to use that during the pre-season because the Princes Park was a cricket ground. And the seniors would train on the number 1 oval. That's where they would do all their pre-season training. And in the mid-1980s, the Carlton Football Club was under the tutelage of the great Robert Walls. It was a very, very hard taskmaster. And you speak to any senior player who was on the list at that time, he was brutal. He was brutal, and they had brutal, hard pre-seasons right through that period. But we finished pre-season training, would have been, I suppose, on the 18th of December, whatever it was. And the under-19s, there was quite a few of us who walked across and we watched the senior group on their last night of pre-season. They did the 100-hundreds with Robert Walls and the fitness instructors there just barking instructions and blowing whistles with a stopwatch and all that type of stuff. And the whole playing group, there's a 50, 60 odd blokes, there would have been blokes there trying out, had to do it unless they were injured. And this was a warm night because I remember going across and watching it. It was a warm night and there were players pulling out. I remember David Rees-Jones pulling out, sort of around about the 70 mark, and I just watched him dry reaching and throwing up, and it is tough. It is tough, but the Brayshaw boys have brought it back in vogue. They do it every Christmas. There's a lot of blokes online who share it, and it's something I've always wanted to do, and it's a bit of a shame that I've waited all this time to give it a red hot crack. I'm going to build it up. I've been keeping myself in reasonable physical condition. I've been doing a fair bit of running, but it's just going for a jog. There's no interval work. There's no sprinting. There's no, fartlek work or 400s or 100s. It's just been, put the Strava on and go for a, say, 5K run or a 6K run. And I can actually run 10Ks because 100-hundreds is actually 10K. I can actually run 10 kilometers jogging, but it takes me an eternity. And when I finish, I feel like I've just run the fucking Boston Marathon. So as I mentioned before, if I tried to do this now, I'd probably drop dead after around about 10. So I am going to start tomorrow. On the 10th of January, I'm going to do my first installment, which is going to be 10 100s. I'm going to do them in a minute. So what that looks like, if I run 100 meters in, say, 25 seconds, I am 55 years of age. I'd love to be able to run consistently 100 meters in sub 20, but it's not going to happen. But if I run, say, 100 meters in 25 seconds, I'm going to get a 35-second rest, and then I go again. I'll do that 100 times. And just the thought of doing that's making me a little bit ill in the stomach at the moment. But hopefully by mid-February, I sort of build it up to, maybe 20, by the end of March up to 30, and so on. And then come Christmas Day at the end of this year, it's probably like running a marathon. And I'm going to really feel it. I'm going to fucking really feel it, physically and mentally going to really feel it. And I thoroughly look forward to sharing that with you along the way. Hope you're all well. Please, if you like this channel, I'm nearly up to 3,000 subscribers, and it's been the thing is, I don't generally talk about subscriptions and stuff and begging people to subscribe. If people generally see the channel and they like it, they will subscribe. But having more subscribers does help. It does help the channel, and it gives me more incentive to keep going and keep producing content. Anyway, I'll keep you posted on my progress with the 100-hundreds. Keep well, stay safe, take care.
Oh, got a fucking heap load of work to do. Decided to do 12 instead of 10. Averaged around about 20 seconds for the 100, which isn't too bad for me, but I could feel my legs, you know, even after 12, just starting to turn into jelly. It is it's a beautiful day, like nice breeze blowing, but it's really humid, so plenty of sweat, but pretty happy with that. So 12 times 100, did it with a young fella, just turned 16, so he's pretty keen on doing the 100 hundreds by Christmas as well, so he did that pretty easy. He's sort of running around the 15 to 16 mark for the 100. He could probably go down to 45 seconds instead of a minute, but he's building into it as well. So anyway, that's the first one done and dusted. I might do lots of 12 for the next 3 or 4 sessions and then boost it up to 14 or 16. Anyway, over and out from Churnside Park in Werribee.